To me, that's what scholarship has done, helping direct me in terms of, well, I have this question now, or I have this thing bugging me. Surely someone has thought about that.
All of your academic pursuits, has it helped or hurt, enhanced or contracted your own personal faith journeys?
Anybody want to start? I'll jump in. I don't feel that it has impinged upon my faith in any way, because I don't conflate the faith with any particular tradition that I happen to be in at any given time. In other words, that's sort of maybe a fairly obtuse way of saying we're still looking at the biblical text, and the biblical text is what delivers truth to us. It's not our tradition. It's not what I was taught to think about a certain passage. It's not, what I heard in the pulpit 3 weeks ago. It's the text. And so, again, in my experience, the more I learn about it and how to approach it, it is still the source of truth. So in that sense, I've changed positions on things. I think a little differently about this particular thing over here, and it's like, oh, well, that helped convince me that I was right all those years ago about that. It has helped me kind of know where to land better, know where to back off better, just to sort of live with ambiguity in the text. That doesn't bother me anymore. So I tend to be very text-driven, and like I say on the podcast all the time, what I care about is, I'm not anti, fill in the blank or whatever tradition. And people who've read, there are a lot of people who've read Unseen Realm now. I have emails from all, I don't want to say every Christian tradition, but it's kind of getting that way. Like just liking the book and thanking me for the book, because the book is not driven in any way by anybody's denominational confessions. I'm creedal and denominationally apathetic. I don't have antipathy, but they're just secondary. They're useful. They were useful in my own life, and I know lots of people whose lives they're very useful in. But because I'm not oriented by that. I've not felt like I was at a crisis point at any given point. It was all about trying to understand the text and what it says. And so to me, it's really been helpful. Just one little more personal note. The thing that I've gotten out of graduate school just generally is the amazing interconnectivity of it all. That to me, when you sort of whip out the trivia, we got 66 books here written over X number of years and different authors and whatnot, and that's significant. But when you sort of can step back and see the complexity of the detail and the consistency and the interconnectivity of it all, to me that's really remarkable. And I don't see anything else on the planet like it. And that's one item. And the other item is the coherence of Scripture, the coherence of its propositions, I think are actually strengthened the more we are able to understand what it says on its own context. And I'm talking about philosophical coherence, intellectual coherence. But for me, the supernatural stuff, all of it extends from the beginning proposition of, is there a God or not? Which has greater explanatory power, because as soon as you side with theism, everything else is a derivative question. Could God have created other supernatural beings? Is that consistent with his nature and character? Can we think of good reasons that would be consistent with his nature and character? Could some of them have rebelled? Is there anything that says that they can't interact in a physical level with our world? God can. Could he have made them like him? And all these things, all these sub-propositions extend from the one. And the one is secure. People have been beating that thing to death for millennia, and it's still here. Okay? And the proposition that there is a God, and that makes more sense than not having a God, that's been around a long time. It's taken a lot of flack. I have no reason to suspect that anybody's going to come up with anything that's going to change that. And so for me, it's just about again, if we believe that God can act in the world and he gave us the scripture, and we test that by, is the body of truth submitted in the Bible more coherent than this other stuff that's floating around here? And lots of good scholars who aren't text geeks like us, systematicians, philosophers, and frankly, just plain good thinkers, have tested that, and I reap the benefit of that, coming away with, this is a secure proposition, it's a secure set of propositions. So all this critical scholarship stuff, I'm willing to look at what it says, and Lord willing, God will help me to discern what's helpful at any given point, what's not so helpful at any given point. Is somebody grinding an axe, like with Bill's thing with the, some of the anti-Semitic stuff, the New Testament side's even worse, by the way. The whole influence of that sort of thing. I mean, there are good people who, for a very long time, have had their heads in this material and asked good questions and produced good content. You just have to know where to find it. And so that's, to me, that's what scholarship has done. Helping direct me in terms of, well, I have this question now, or I have this thing bugging me. Surely someone has thought about that. And they have. It just takes a little work, it takes some time.